welcome to the Feeding Our Young podcast. Have you ever heard of the Unified? Feeding Our Young is more than a unified. It's a desire to see new nurses of all ages be unified, and it starts with me, unified. So join host Eric Miller, registered nurse for nearly 20 years and adjunct unified clinical instructor, and today's honored guest, me, unified. And be ready to lift, to have your spirits uplifted and be unified. Uplift others and unified. Welcome to Feeding Our Unified. Just a mess.
That was amazing. All right, welcome to part 2 of Who Knows How Many of the Maliah Haroldson experience. Maliah, how are you? It's been so long since we've chatted.
I know, super long, just like a little intermission. Like I had to go and like pee, get some water, real quick.
So with that, let's not waste any more time, because as we've established in the first episode, we're talkers. So I want her to talk. I want me to listen. I want you to listen. So let's just start with another one of the topics that you gave us, Maliah, things that we could talk about. And I said it about your first topic, and I really love it about your second. So we're going to work these 6 in here somehow, I feel like. But the power of gratitude. I love how a simple practice can transform nursing. What are you talking about?
I think, so gratitude for me, I guess, like, it comes both ways, right? So you get gratitude, you get appreciation from a patient, and then you have it from your coworkers or just like from yourself as well. And then like you give it back. So I feel like in the field of nursing, it's the idea that you go in, you're kind of like, I guess like in the trenches. You're just like in the trenches. That's like you're just there for 12 hours, 10 hours, 8 hours. It doesn't matter. You're just like doing your work. And I think at the same time, like it's like get yelled at, you have this like bogged down feeling, you know what I mean? Like it gets to your psyche at some level. Like you're like, I'm not doing anything right. Like is the like the patient, like the family's not happy, somebody's not happy. But then it's the idea of just being like grateful. And that goes along, like, I think like your whole nursing journey as well. I think like through my whole nursing journey, I think looking back is where you begin to build this, like, I really do appreciate that nurse, like taking the time, or like, I appreciate my mentors I've made throughout my nursing career. And I appreciate my patients. Like, I think I work with veterans. So like, again, like their contribution to this country, I like work with a lot of Vietnam veterans right now. And I think it's like the idea of just like, they thank you. And like, I find this population, it's a different population in its own self. Like it's, like they have their pros and cons too. But I think the most of the thing I appreciate is they thank me for what I do. And then in return, like, I learned this from one of my mentors, like I hold her dearly, and she just was like, no, thank you. I think it's the idea of just being like, no, thank you for like wanting to come here and like wanting to like work with me too. You know what I mean? It's like that mutual respect you deal with. And I think like sometimes we kind of like lose that. And I think that's what makes nursing so like gratifying as well. So
much. And so well said too, because like you're talking about, you don't necessarily appreciate it in the moment, like with your mentor or whatever, when you say you're looking back at your career, because it's not because you don't have an appreciation, but it's just because you're in the midst of it and terrified, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think even like, I'll go back to like, even like how I felt going to a VA, when you start nursing, you're like, give me everything. You want to learn. You're like super jumpy and like antsy. And then like, again, don't lose that motivation. Like you get into your field and you're like, oh my God, like you're like crying. You're like, what did I do? And like bedside isn't for everyone. Again, like I have friends that just went straight into like urgent care, GI clinic, and I'm like, respect. Like like it takes a certain person to want to do that, to want to work 12 hours, to want to like deal with like patients at their worst. So like, again, like I think nursing is like great for that. But like, I guess going back to like what I was saying about like, I don't even know what I was saying. Where am I?
Well, gratitude and you know what I mean, all of that.
But like, I think like I have to say like, going back to my scholarship, it was like I wanted to be like, I was a tech in like a MICU at the county hospital in San Bernardino, shout out Arrowhead. And the MICU like manager gave me a chance as like a student nurse and like as a tech. And I wanted that. Like, I was like, I want the sickest of the sickest. And that's why like I grew my I want to be an ICU nurse.
Yeah.
But then all my friends that are like now we're like 3-4 years into it, I've like seen some of them and they're like, I'm burnt out. They're
Yeah.
like, I want to leave bedside. I need like a, what do they call it? Like soft nursing job.
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah.
So, like for me though, to go to the VA and have the scholarship at first, I was just like so kind of like, ugh, like the VA, like they call it like a VA vacation, like
Oh my
everyone
gosh.
has, like everyone knows it's like, oh, the VA, like not high acuity, as the highest acuity you'd want. And I was like, okay, like I kind of went into it. I was like a little sad. I was like, all right. But like at the end of it, now I'm able to go back to grad school. And
Yeah.
like I have energy, like all my friends, like again, everyone's in a different part of their career, their lives. So like
Yeah.
but for me, like I wanted to go back and get like a doctorate. So I was like, this is it. And that's how I don't know. I moved up to Washington and you hear about like all these elite schools and I'm just like, you know what? UW is, I literally live like by the Children's Hospital
Oh
and
wow.
UW is like down the street from me and I'm just like stared at it for 3 years, drive by like like all the time. And then all of a sudden I was like, I guess I should apply. Like, right? Like I've told people, like my big mouth was like, yeah, like I want to go back to school. So it's like put your money where your mouth is now.
Uh-huh. Big
I got,
talker.
yeah, exactly. And then I got to that point where it's like, okay, I guess I'll apply. I actually didn't think I was gonna get in. It's such like a respected university. And I was like,
Well, and based on your previous experience that you shared with us just trying to get into nursing school to begin
oh
with,
yeah,
right?
like I was ready like for like my little rejection. And it was so weird too, because my sister also, like my youngest sister wants to be a speech pathologist and also applied. So we're
Yeah.
both like waiting like to hear back. And I was like, oh, I got in. And she did not, but like she's doing her own thing too. And like she's doing her own journey like in that whole realm of like speech and education. So
Yeah.
but I was like really taken back. Again, like I feel like FNPs are like like a lot of people had that route too, or they want to do education. So I was like, well, this we'll take this adventure. So yeah, I just finished up my second quarter. So I'm kind of like,
Oh.
yeah, so I'm
Okay.
like pretty new to that.
So let's unpack that a little bit. So before
Yeah.
we get into your current career goals and plans, or
Okay.
expounding more on that, take us back to your nursing school experience. So it wasn't that long ago, but like you said, COVID hits and all the things. So I mean, man, that changes everything for everybody. But
Yeah.
you said you know what I mean. You had 7 nursing schools you applied to. You finally get into this one, like, and you're not feeling the best about yourself. You know what I mean? You said you're kind of like, well, I don't, kind of that, whatever. How do you get from that point to a place where you are obviously today? Uh, you know, high motivation, super like go getter. Where does that transition happen in nursing school? How did that work for you?
Such a good. It wasn't like I think it's just it's not a, like I don't think there was ever like a singular point. I think it was just like how I was as a person. It was almost like, like you wouldn't do well in clinical or like something would happen and then you'd get like down on yourself. I think it was that idea of like you just got to keep pushing. And like it sounds terrible, like you would go through all these emotions. I'd be like anxious, sad, frustrated with myself. And then like, you have your friends, you'll like trauma bond with each other. And
Mm-hmm.
you're like, why do they get this so much easier? But like you use each other too. Like you're like, hey, like do you understand this? Like explain it. I think it's like the idea of like knowing that you're not alone and then being able again like that whole idea of like coming together and having like that shared experience and able to like convey that to them and like have like knowing that you're not alone. I think for me though it was just more like I gotta push. Like I was like I want this. Like it was like the idea of like they rejected me. Like now I'm here. I was like, I deserve this spot. Like I am worthy. And I think you just have
Yeah.
to repeat that like mantra, like whatever mantra you got to repeat to be like, this is me. Like I am gonna do this. Like I have to. It's, you know what I mean? I think I was more of like, it wasn't like it was a choice. And I was like, I'm gonna choose to like prove them wrong, or I'm gonna
Yeah.
choose to like make sure that I understand this or like prove to them. And then again, I think as you go through even like your nursing career, like you'll develop these skills again, like you'll develop your practice, whatever that may look like for you. So for me, it just kind of it's evolving still. Like I'm still like I
Yeah.
could have done this better. I could have, and I think it's being open to feedback and having that open mind too, to be like, some people get so tunnel visioned that you
Mhm.
have to understand like if this door closes, there's going to be another door and you have to understand that. And even though it's not what you envision, you got to just run with the punches. Sometimes you're like, okay, like this one closed. I got to go over here. Like for me, like for nursing school, like again, like I got rejected. I was totally abroad and I was actually trying to study abroad and like go off on this like whole like I don't like screw school, like screw nursing. Like I was so bitter too. Like I was like, this field sucks. They don't even want me here.
Yeah.
And to get into a school and then it wasn't even like I was like, where is this? Like I haven't even visited it. Then like have to go into the Inland Empire, an area that like I've never been to either. Like I've never visited. And like, so like just understanding that like what you envision is not what it is, and then just understand like having that gratitude too, and being able to look back and be like, oh, I actually am so thankful like of what happened, and just like again open mind and just like being
Yeah.
like, this sucks. It just sucks. Like you can acknowledge that like this is
Yeah.
gonna suck for you, but you know what, we're gonna figure this out together, you and whoever your community is.
Which leads us into the third point you wanted to talk about, having to do with mentorship, its impact on career development. What can you speak towards that?
So I think like through, I didn't realize they were like mentors at the time, but like again, like my friend that got this scholarship kind of counseled me. And like again, like she never said anything like about the scholarship, but she kind of was like, you just have to go with it. Like again, it like helped paid for school and everything, and that it was a huge like help with the financial burden. And then like even at the VA, I think like again, you just find your people as you go along. Like I again like you get a preceptor, and like sometimes preceptors don't work out. Again, so much respect for my preceptor too. Like she wrote me my letters, and like again, like you don't know what people say about you.
Eh,
You know what I mean? Like everyone's like, what do you think of, like everyone's like they
and you can name drop her too. You can name
oh,
drop her. Like
her
that.
name is Rachel, and like just like it was like everyone like again like like unit culture and everything. It's always so funny because people are like, yeah, like I don't think she precepted before, but I don't know if she ever precepted on SICU. So like, and we have like
Oh.
such a funny story too because I was a PB when I was doing the post bac like the nurse residency. I came to SICU, and I tell this story all the time. And Rachel was there at like sitting at her well, and she's like, I don't want a student. She's like, I was like, I'm not a student. Like I'm a full-blown nurse. Like I swear to God. And she's just like, I had no idea like again, like you don't know what's going on in people's minds. So I'm just like, I get to the unit and I'm just like standing there like shy, anxious, like, oh my
Yeah.
God, like I
Yeah.
don't want to like intrude on. And so like I'm already like, she hates me. Like I'm already like, she's gonna place me. So she's like, okay. So we got this like spinal cord patient that's like septic-y. What do you like? It's like, what are we gonna do? And I just was like, uh, take care of him. Like, so I was like, what? Like, what do you like? It's just like I'm just like standing there, like again, like so awkward too. I can just imagine like how she felt. Long story short, it works out fine.
Yeah.
I go up to the charge. I have to come back to the unit the next day. She called out, and they're like, she never calls out. And I was like, she hated.
You're like, that was it. I
I
broke
was like,
her.
guys, like I'm good. Like I'm gonna go home. Like good night. I really liked working with all of you. I hope to never see you all again.
Oh.
And so then she comes back like a day later, and like and so it comes out later that she just like was really sick that day, and she was actually like really impressed. And was
Oh my
like, but
gosh.
like I guess the backstory to that is that I was working on spinal cord for a lot of my nurse residency because COVID was still going on, so the whole hospital was like still kind of on this weird COVID lockdown. So
Yeah.
they're like, no, 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 like you can't go to these specific units. And I was like, no problem. So like it was like kind of an ideal patient that I was used to,
Yeah.
but like way sicker than I was ever used to seeing. So it kind of worked out that way. But that is like
Oh
that,
my
and
gosh.
so and then she ended up being my preceptor. So I was like, what?
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, and then I think through that nurse residency program too, I really did enjoy my time. I went to like an outpatient wound care clinic, and I guess Dr. Quinn, she's just like awesome. She's an NP too, and she was the one that kind of steered me in the direction of FNP, and like was like,
Okay.
this is to why like she was because I was about to go for like I work with geriatric men mostly at the VA.
Yeah.
Not a surprise.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, should I just do the geriatric one? And she's like, no, 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 no. Like, you should do the FNP. She's like, you can work with everyone. And I was like, I don't know if I like kids. Like I was like, how's that gonna work? And she's like, you just do it. She's like, again, like the whole idea of open-mindedness of
Yeah.
being like,
Yeah.
don't close yourself off. Like, like try to get into an FNP program first. And if that doesn't work, maybe yeah, apply for this one. But she's like, you'll be able to do a bunch. And like again, she also wrote one of my recs too, and just love her as a human. Like just very helpful,
Yeah.
very smart. Just like with nursing and everything too. Like and she was the one that I think renewed that sense of like what I'm doing in nursing, specifically at the VA. Like the way she just dealt with veterans as well was just so like it just like was rejuvenating in the sense of like this is why I'm at the VA, or like this is what we're the kind of care they deserve, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for
And
sure.
like so that was it was good. That was good. But yeah, mentors were like a big like looking back again, like everything in retrospect were like a
Everything in
big
retrospect.
yeah.
Well, it's funny you talk about, retrospect and looking back, because now let's talk about your future a little bit. I feel like that's where this is headed, because you've dropped the fact that you've done your second quarter
Yeah.
in the NP program. So again, she kind of was the one that spurred you on this path. What is your hope? Like, what do you, without obviously having that closed mind, what do you envision yourself doing with this NP, this FNP? Like, where do you want to go? Who do you want to take care of? What's your passion?
That's see, I'm trying to figure that out too.
There it is.
Like I again like I just had a meeting with my advisor as well, and she again like she's a busy lady, like respect everyone at that program.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. Like I think a lot of people are asking like do you want to go, are you going to just go right into primary care because it is an FNP, primary care. I was like I don't know. Like I wouldn't I feel like I want to specialize somewhere. I just don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And I think again, like I'm hoping that, as people like you go through these clinical experiences and that you put the trust in your experience and then in the program that something will come out of it. Like I'm not saying I'm gonna just lay over and just be like, universe, like send me something. Like
Put me
I'm
where you want me.
exactly.
Yeah.
You do have to do a little work to go into it. You know what I mean? Like I am interested in like the residencies and like fellowships that happen. I think they usually do fellowships after too, and they specialize in like either oncology or
Yeah.
like CT, cardiothoracic. You can go to like if you're in the acute care NP, which I am not, they'll like have like fellowships for there, and then like FNPs can be found in emergency departments. So again, like super
Awesome.
broad, whatever floats my boat, if like however I'm feeling in life, like if I'm like I'm not super ready to be done with the organized chaos of like an acute care, maybe the ED is calling me, who
Yeah,
knows.
yeah. Well, and like you said, you've had, I mean, you have those moments, and I think any one of us can look back and reflect on, oh, man, this moment really defined me going on this part of the path or this direction as opposed to the other one. And you've already had that, right? Like, but now you still have all this, it's going to happen again. You're going to have that moment, maybe, maybe not. And I guess the takeaway for nursing students, the reason why I bring that up is because here you're talking to someone who is a go-getter. I mean, you're like, oh my gosh, she's already like going back for NP, like all the things, like, oh my, all these things. And maybe that's intimidating. Don't let it be intimidating. The idea is like, man, okay, man, that works for her and that's what she's doing. I'm not going back for my NP anytime soon at all. And that's okay. Everybody's a little bit different. But the idea is you see her going and making those plans, but being open to anything that comes out. So when I asked the question, not knowing the answer, by the way, I wasn't leading the witness, but like, do you have a goal with this FNP? Do you know exactly where you want to be? Some people would be like, yeah, I just sat down with a couple of, with a functional medicine nurse practitioner and another, I've talked with two of those, and they knew early on kind of the direction they wanted to go. But not everybody does. And that's just it. So you're in nursing school going, I still don't know what area of nursing I want to practice in, let alone chasing other things. It still happens when you go for your advanced degrees too. You may not necessarily know exactly where you want to land yet. And it's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it honestly, it's kind of where the chips fall. I don't know. I think always like again, like you hear a lot of these professors that I've had to sit in lectures with or these guest speakers, and they're like, how did you get it to like be like a public health nurse that talks to like the state of Washington's like governor? You know what I mean? Like you're like,
Yeah. Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
It's just like, and then it's always interesting. Like again, like they just took an opportunity that just led them to another opportunity. And again, reasonable
Yep.
risk wherever you are in your life.
Yep.
So it just happened that this is just like the prime time for me, I guess. Like I was like, I feel like, like I enjoy what I do, but I was like, I feel like, yeah, there's like a little bit more. So I was like, this
Yeah.
is the idea that I had, but I'm excited where it will lead me again. It's always good to talk to, I feel like the beautiful thing about like anything you do in nursing is that wherever you go in the world too, is that everyone knows what you do. Like you're like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it's a universal thing. So like I was just like, yeah, like this is what I do. And they kind of, you don't have to explain yourself. Like you go up to somebody and you're like, yeah, like I work in finance and I look at accounts. They're like, what?
Wait, what? What do you mean? What do you? Yeah.
Yeah, like you know what I mean? So I feel like it's so cool that even like how again, like you can go into any area of nursing. It could be like aesthetics, it could be, just like an IV infusion nurse, it could be dialysis, and like you don't even have to explain yourself. You're just like, I'm a nurse. This is what
And
I
they
do.
go, oh, fantastic. And then you just start sharing the stories, right? Like that's
Exactly.
it.
You're
Yeah,
just
that's
like, wait a minute, you had that same experience too? Oh, wait, I got a story for you.
it. So, I mean, and you've kind of touched on this. I'm kind of working my way through her awesome little topics that we've got here too. But you've kind of touched on this. But what more do you want to say? Because this leads right into that continuing of your education and lifelong learning.
Yeah. So for like the lifelong learning, I guess like again, like even if you're content and you're just even surrounded, because again, like nursing is a career that it kind of just moves a lot of people go in different directions, and that's the beauty of it.
Hmm.
Just make of what you have, I think like on your unit as well, or just even not even on your unit, but even in your workplace. It's like there are ways that you can teach yourself. Like it like maybe somebody will be like, hey, like do you want to try like managing or like is it a charge nurse? Like there's different skills to learn within your own workplace. And even if it seems like a small thing, it's like, can you be a champion for, I don't know, like everyone's like, be a champion for something. And it kind of sucks because like then it's like, dang, like we're gonna have to hear from her again. Like just sitting around with the clipboard, like wash your hands, everyone. You're like, oh God. But like there's like stuff to be learned. Like I think like you learn you begin to it's like how you kind of like grow your circle of friends or like you begin to make those connections with different people in different
Yeah.
departments. And it's this whole idea of like you not only learn for yourself, but it's also like learning different personalities and learning different people and working. And I think that is kind of like something too, like as being a lifelong learner. You just don't want to be like, you can go to work. I'm not going to dismiss that. You can go to work and just do your job,
Hmm.
but medicine is also innovating. So the idea to me is like you just have to like at least be up to date with things. Be like, "Oh yeah, like I did learn about that." Or like be like maybe like if a policy is changing, like that's even like learning why a policy is changing. Just don't like accept it
Yes.
at face value. You're like what are we doing differently and why? Like what you don't need to go look up the article, but it's the understanding of like you kind of have to be like your patient, advocate for yourself in that way of being able to say, wait a minute, we're making a change, but something's not clicking with me. Like, why are we making that change? So, like, let
Right.
me understand that. And I think, like just little things like that along the way too. Because the last thing you want to do is just be stagnant and like not know anything. And then everyone's like, okay, like you're the most senior person and you don't seem to care because that translates into other ways too. It's like, no, they do care. They
Yeah.
just don't. It's just hard. You know what I mean? Like it does get all that. It's all that mismatch of thing. But yeah,
And I'm glad you used that word stagnant because that's what came to my mind while you were talking is that vision of, right? You have that lake that just has water flowing into it and then it dies there. Like that's like the Dead Sea, right? Like that's essentially, as I understand, that's why the Dead Sea exists. It doesn't have water flowing back out. And the idea is that you're constantly accepting, keeping that open mind you talked about, allowing those new thoughts, new ideas, new evidence to flow into your body of practice. That's the lake. And then you pass that on to others, and others will see that in you. While on the flip side, the other thing I want to make sure that gets spoken here too, like you said, yeah, you can just, go in, clock in, do your job, and clock out. Man, that's one of the hardest things to do as a nurse. We already know that. But the idea that you're never going to be just a bedside nurse. For anyone that's not like, well, that's nice you're talking to a nurse practitioner. She's getting her nurse practitioner. I don't want to do that. Great, don't do it. I don't either. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
different strokes for different folks. I don't know. There's a different, so
Yeah.
many different cliches we could say that, right?
Exactly. Again, it's just what works for you. Like honestly, and again, the beauty of nursing. You don't want
Yeah.
to do that. There is a nursing job for you, and like somewhere in the universe for you.
And oh, this just popped in this little blonde brain too. But if you don't want to do that role and you're like, well, but I probably should, like you said earlier, because everybody else is doing it, what you're doing is you're robbing someone else who has a passion for that role to do that role. So find your niche. Where's your niche? Find it. But don't, and if you have to occupy something that isn't, you're like, well, I know I don't want to be here forever. Great. Be the best version of you in that role that you can be. But in the meantime, don't just settle for the spot that you don't want to be in because somebody wants that spot. So in the meantime, keep your eyes open, keep the open mind, and look for the spot that you want to go in.
Exactly. And again, like that just it doesn't go without saying again, you're gonna have to do some work. Like I think people forget about that. They see all these people in these like really cool positions or like they're like, wow, like they did it, they made it. And it's like not without a little work. If it was so easy, everyone would be doing it, I promise.
Yes. And that the picture of the iceberg, right? Like where
Yeah.
you got the massive iceberg above the water, but it's just the tip. And it's
Yeah.
like here's all the here's all you see the success that quote unquote I have, whoever. But here's everything underneath it that had to make it, that had to form that iceberg. So
Exactly. It's like the little ducks you see, like now spring's coming around. It's like a duck and it's just like calm on the surface and then its little feet are going all over the place.
all over the place, that work to get from point A to point B. And thank you for bringing that up because that's another thing too. Because you'll hear nurses again, nursing students will be your number one advocate here, but you got to do your part. Don't show
Exactly.
up and don't show up and just expect it to be handed to you because nothing in life is handed to you, let alone in nursing. Oh my gosh, unless it's a catheter and someone's helping you. So that'll be that'll be handed to you. So Maliah, then let's just cruising right along because I think we're gonna make it through your list. I'm so excited. But this one in
This was
particular,
literally just for like topics. I was like, we could nix it. I did not mean to give you like I was just like, here are ideas. Like I think because again, I did
yeah,
my homework. I did my homework, Eric. Like I did it.
yeah, and
I
that's what I
tried.
mean. And I want you to benefit from doing that
I
work.
don't want to.
Yeah, no,
I
you
was
know what I
like,
mean.
we can. I'm good. I was like, I'm good.
Yeah, no, but what I love, and here's the problem. Okay, then here's the problem, Maliah, because the problem is you gave me. This is all making the episode, by the way, you guys. The problem, Maliah, is that she gives this list, right? Like, of just again, and she legit communicated the idea that these are things we could talk about. We don't have to we don't have to follow this regimented like my list of whatever. The problem, though, with that, Malia, was that you gave it to me, and I'm like, "Oh, that's good," and I'm like, "Oh, that's better than the first one. Oh, that's even better. Oh my gosh!" So I was like, "No, we got to cover this stuff. We got to cover this stuff." So, no, and I mean, we're nearing the end of your second
Okay,
episode here.
okay, okay.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel. She's
I'm
like,
not getting tired. I just like feel bad. I was like, I feel like this is just turning into yapping and you're just like, I need like my gold nuggets. And I was like, we can give you gold nuggets. Like I promise
No,
people.
Malia, that's the time. We're only at 28 minutes,
I
so
can talk in
let's
a
talk
monotone,
about.
don't worry. I can bore you. Like here, I'll pull up a PowerPoint. I'll be like,
So no, this one's huge, and especially for nursing students and
okay,
new grads and new nurses. I want you to talk about that topic that you brought up about work-life balance strategies. Like
okay.
what specifically worked for you? What advice do you have for others?
I don't know if I'm like the best person for it. Like honestly, like I do have my lazy days. Like you heard the term rot. Like I love to rot on my couch
Yes.
and like not be bothered. And like some days, you know what I mean. I like to be busy though. I don't know what it is. Like I don't find myself extroverted, but like I guess like I like to hang out with my friends and but. I don't know like you find things that you really like in nursing and then you make time for them. I for me that is like just having a day scheduled where I'm like okay like I'll go on like a hike or like I need to work out. Like if I don't work out like I know you're a runner. Now I learned. But like if I don't work out like I'm a mess. Like I'm just like I
Yeah.
need those like I need my serotonin. I need my dopamine, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But I think it's like the scheduling is flexible. So like don't I guess like my biggest thing was like do not like work a bunch to the point where you're like I hate my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that causes burnout and makes resentment. Like do like maybe yeah, pick up a if you need OT, pick up OT. But don't forget like at the end of the day it's like you like what do you if you just like watching movies like sit on your couch and like just watch a movie. Or
Yep.
if you like to like I know a bunch of people that are like super crafty. If you need to go shopping. You know what I mean? Like for me, I just went, okay, I will be honest, I was not at work yesterday. I was skiing yesterday. So that's why
What?
I was just like, that's why I was like, I'll text you all this stuff later. But I was like, but yeah, so like for me, like I love being outside and of course, like so cliche P&W, like all the things like, outdoors here. And so anything active or just activity wise, like just find what brings you joy and what sparks your joy, I guess, and make sure you make time for that. I again, like I have a friend that love her to death, and she was awesome. Like we were a text together. She kind of got me into like Arrowhead and like became like a nursing tech,
Oh
but like
wow.
just totally burnt herself out. And then she worked at Mayo. She's gonna be like, what the heck were you talking about? She's like, worked at Mayo. And like I always go back because like she is so smart too. And then she just needed a break and like she did what she needed to do. She went and traveled. She worked at the prison up in San Quentin. But like just stuff like that, like I think about that. Like she just had to totally like do what's good for her and like find that balance. She's like, I do
Yeah.
enjoy an ICU, but she's like, I was like she it's just like it was hard because like I feel like she just like didn't find like things to kind of balance that out. She was like, well, I just want to work. And I was like, okay, but like there is more, you know what I mean? And I think
Yeah.
that's where you have to just make that decision for yourself too. Like how much you can handle on your plate. Like again, like you don't just because other people are doing things does not mean you have to be doing things. Do what works for you. So like if you want to work again like 5 days in a row and only have a day off, yes, do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you can manage that. But yeah, like everyone's schedule looks different. I think you just yeah, do what you got to do.
And I love that you know that part of I always tell my students don't lose the art of reflection. It's not just a paper, it's not just an assignment, it's not just something that nursing instructors are asking you to do. Because like you're saying, you're constantly reflecting, maybe on the shift, you know what I mean, on that day. Okay, was I that good? Was I actually that bad? Was it, you know what I mean? Did that thing that really that happened, how much of that was on me? How much of that was something I couldn't control? You know, and maybe it's the kind of the more macro where you're like, yeah, okay, I've got to pick up these overtime, you know what I mean? I got to do that. But then you need to constantly check in. Okay, but wait, how am I doing this week? How am I doing after this week? Am I starting to get a little, you know what I mean? Like, no, no,
Oh
no, I feel like
yeah.
I'm okay. Yeah, that whole thing. Like,
It's like the idea, like I could feel it. Like you know when you're at work and then you're like, or like even if you're like with a friend, I guess to put it in basic words, and like this friend, you're like it's starting to talk to you and you're just like annoyed. You're like you're acting like a sibling and you're like I need space. Like
yes.
even like because like even like I again like you see like there's a bunch of things about like calling off and stuff, but I was like if you begin to realize you're getting so jaded and you're just so upset and you just need a day and you're like I have two more on or like I have a day I have to be there like for another day.
Yep.
Again, it's that idea and I think it's like understanding and like being okay with that as well. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like yeah, just the thing about reflection. I like the idea of reflection, but like I don't know. I think of it kind of differently. Like you don't want to bring your, you know, everyone is always like when you walk through those hospital doors, you have to stop and like your personal life is there and then you're in the
Oh,
hospital and then you come out of the hospital and like you have to compartmentalize, I guess is the best word as like a nurse. And so I think like reflection is like honestly for me is like the best way to like understand like okay, like that wasn't in my control or like you
yeah.
know, and then like maybe you can go back and like chat with someone and you're not gonna dwell on it though. The idea isn't that like it's like you're spiraling and you're like, oh my God, like, you know, oh, like, oh no, like I could have done this better. So I think it is good to do reflection and then again, like you don't want to dwell on that, but then at the same time, like making sure that like, yeah, like some stuff I don't know, like you carry your emotional stuff, but like, yeah, like it's weird to say like you don't want to compartmentalize, but you kind of
Yeah.
have to because you don't want like your stuff, like your personal stuff coming in. And that's again like the reflection part. It's like maybe this isn't a good day that I come here, or like maybe it's not a good day that I have to be in a room with like a patient that's like on hospice today. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like, I think it's understanding that and also knowing that and like doing some introspective work to make sure that you're okay to like also take care of others. Cause like at the end of the day, how do you take care of others if you're not like taking care of yourself?
For sure. For sure. You can't pour out of an empty glass. There's that old saying, right? Like
Yeah,
you can try,
exactly.
nothing's coming out. Oh man, Malia. No, I just love the fact that I love sitting down and talking with you like this. I'm so glad that name drop alert.
I know.
Christy,
Risky.
put us together. So no, and I like again every time I come away from this, like I'm like, man, I don't, I've known you for about an hour and 20 minutes now,
Yeah, like
uh,
enough for 2 episodes apparently.
but it's enough to also like I'm recharged. I had a crazy morning, all the things, whatever. I was looking
Yeah.
forward to this. I'm like, I know that I'm gonna walk away from this feeling like amazing, and it is. I don't know, like my wife and I
Like
talk
it's
about,
cool that what you're doing though. Like I honestly think it's so cool because like to talk with other people that you don't even know, or even your I heard like the one I think with your coworker recently and
yeah,
everything. Like I was just like, that is so cool that you know what I mean. And I don't know, it's just interesting. I enjoy like talking to people and just like listening to what they have to say because like everything you learn, it's almost like a new perspective. Like I don't know, like I was again like skiing yesterday. I was like totally concentrated on going down this one route. We were in
Yeah.
the trees, and then my friend is like, no, just exit over there, girl. Like the exit's over there. Like where are you
What are
going?
you doing? Why are you
Yeah,
doing? Why are you
like,
stuck to that one way?
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. We are like all of us. And this can be, I'm not going to get esoteric and talk about humanity at large, but it is applicable there too. But even like us nurses and nursing students and all the things, we're a mosaic. You are like this, you've just got these little bits of other people you've come across, other people you've interacted with. Like I am now going to like, I have been bettered by our conversation, Maliah, by knowing you now. I genuinely can say, man, I feel like a better person. And there's just like, oh yeah, and she had this amazing point. That's now a part of me. You know what I mean? And that goes with me now until the day I die. And legitimately, like that's, you know what I mean? I am this,
Yeah.
not saying how old I am, we're in our advanced, at least 30s.
Well,
We
a day over 20. What are you talking
Thank
about?
you. That's what I'm talking about. I don't do the math when we talk about how old our kids are, but the point is, all that time, though, every person you're interacting with, I'm a conglomerate of these people, for better and for worse. You know what I mean? And so take those things and try and focus on the positive and take the positive. But I just can't thank you enough. Like where I was going, my wife we were talking about therapy, right? And I've had multiple honored guests. It's like with mental health, man, everybody needs a therapist. Find a therapist, get a therapist. It may not be easy, it may be hard, whatever the case may be. And I'm gonna have to put my money where my mouth is at some point, probably literally. But until then, like I had bad experiences with therapy as a child growing up, and I have to get over that. Open-minded, remaining open-minded per Maliah Doctrine 101. But that idea that I'm like, but then I just realized not that this replaces any genuine therapy, anyone out there, but this is a form of therapy for me. Like running, like you talking about working out, you know what I mean, and staying sane and needing those endorphins. For me, it's like, man, I get to sit down with an amazing human being who I've never met, and we get to talk. We get to talk about nursing. We get to talk about life. We get to laugh. We get to maybe cry. Who knows, depending on the person. And I cannot thank you enough for taking that time to do this. All this, I'm like babbling, and we still got our regular closing questions. So, Maliah, you chose 3 words to describe nursing school. What were they, and why did you pick them?
I will go, let's see. I said memorable. I honestly, nursing school, I moved to the Inland Empire, San Bernardino, didn't know a single person, and I went through COVID. So that was also like a weird, like everything was online, but like my clinicals, I literally slept on 2 of my friends' like apartment floor. It was so weird. They saw me like Cloroxing an apple once, and they were like during COVID because nobody would do what they were doing, and they're like, "What
Yeah.
are you doing?" And I was like, I'm like standing there with my Clorox wipe and like my apple, and I'm like, I'm Cloroxing COVID away. Like, what do
Off my
you?
apple that I'm about to eat. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
And they were like, oh no, like you need to wash that again with like soap and water.
Oh my
But like
gosh.
I think back like even just how I started like not knowing anyone and then like just building those bonds with people and then I didn't really I was going everywhere. I should like they tell you like nursing school is stressful, but like the way my friend and I we just like got in her like little Yaris or like my car and like just drove all over like Southern California and just studied at coffee shops. We're like, yeah, like we got into this habit of like going on a hike and then going to a coffee shop.
Yeah.
So we that's what like we did. We were like, yeah, you choose like the 3 mile hike and then I'll choose the coffee shop in that area. And that's like what we did. And we would sit like I could not sit for like 4 like she would sit for like 6 hours. I would just have to like stand there and pretend like I'm studying at some level and be like, yeah, like are we ready to go home? Like
Is
are we
it
ready to
time
see
to can
the
we
Joe's? I got some
go
grocery shopping I gotta do.
home?
So very memorable. Again,
Yeah.
like loved nursing school. And then frustrating, I think frustrating was the idea of like all my nursing professors, I don't know, like you're a clinical instructor, but like specifically my professors that I've been teaching always were
Mhm.
like, it's gonna work out. Like you just have to go with the punches. And like as a student, that was like annoying because it's like, what are we doing? Like COVID was so annoying with that too. It's like, are
Yeah.
my clinicals in person? Are they not? And they're like, you just have to do this. It's like, this is how it is in nursing. Like you kind of just go by the seat of your pants. And I was like, this sounds awful. Like
You're
in
like, if this is nursing, I want
yeah, they're
no more
like,
part of
oh,
this.
you just work with it. Like whatever they give you, like you're just and I think the idea too is like they now nursing again very competitive and like you need experience. So these nursing residency programs, like my friend like applied to like a bunch in Southern California, like a bunch of my friends did, and they like specifically inpatient and they didn't get a single one, so they had to start at like Arrowhead or like you know what I mean? Like they're
Yeah.
so competitive. Like they only have like two spots on like L&D. It's like we only accept like we have like 60 part like applicants, but we only have the budget to train like three.
Yeah.
So that was that and so it's like that's to me is like frustrating. I got lucky. I knew I was going to a VA, so I was like, "Guys,"
Peace
like
out.
yeah, like that was just like super frustrating. I think like the unknown was frustrating for
Yeah.
somebody like you want to be like type A, like I need to know what I'm doing. And
Yep.
so like as a young person, that was just like super hard to deal with. And then hard work again, you gotta hustle. I just remember just putting in hours, you know. Some people got jobs, some people had families in nursing school, like bless their hearts. But yeah, just I'm all about the hard work. You gotta put in some like grunt work and then, you know, you'll see the results, but you gotta be patient.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I love the way you phrased it earlier in that, you're going to get out of it what you put into it, right? Like you've maybe heard that before. It's cliche, it's whatever, but it's true. You're going to get out of it what you put into it. You can try and coast, whatever that definition of coasting through nursing school is. I don't know how that's a thing, but you can do the minimum. You can know when you're doing the minimum and you're going to get the minimum out of it. You know what I mean? Like the hardest shifts I've had, the hardest times I've had, that's where I get the most out of my career and out of my life. You know what I mean? I'm like, the times you don't want to go to wherever, to that appointment or that, sermon, that church, that whatever, that service, that's the word I was looking for. I'm like, oh man, I'm like, what is that? That church, that service,
Like
the
we're
service.
going to church again. I was like, oh no.
No, but
Ah.
those times where there's something that's going to be good for you. You fill in the blank for whatever that is. You that run, that workout, that whatever in the morning, and you're like, no, I don't want to do that. But when you do, that's often when you feel the most rewarded. And you're like, okay, that's why I had to do it. All right.
Oh my God, yeah, I feel so much better. I wonder why, because I have like a bunch of endorphins and you know what I mean? You're like dopamine. Like I forgot what you felt like. Like
Yeah, and you'd think that you would learn from that. You'd think that you go, okay, no, next time it'll be better. No, next time it's the same thing. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Okay, so I'd be remiss if I don't say the word one more time, Maliah. But we have gone through 2 episodes now, and you have unified many concepts, many discussions. But for some reason, someone just got turned off by that weird first intro and then even the weirder second intro, and they skipped all the way to now. You have one piece of advice. You want someone, whether it be a nursing student or a nurse, and it can be the same, it can be different. You have that one piece of advice you want them to walk away with. What would that be, whether you've covered it or not?
keep an open mind and always keep trying, keep working at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Ah, I love it. Maliah, thank you so much for your time today. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day off.
You too. I hope you have a great run.
Oh, I hope so too. Here's what's happening on the next episode of Feeding Our Young.
There was a very serious week after that where I was like, should I quit nursing school? And
Yeah.
like it sounds dramatic. We talked at the top of this episode how I
Yeah.
have a flair for the dramatic.
Yeah.
But you have to understand that in the context of like I already feel like I don't know anything, and then having that confirmed by an outside source who's
Yeah.
already been a nurse for 25, 30 years,
Yep.
I should just go home. It's like,
Yeah.
I should just go home.
Did you like today's episode of Feeding Our Young? Let today's honored guest know by emailing us at thanks@feedingouryoung.org. Also, if you are a nursing student, nurse, or a nursing instructor and would like to be featured on a future episode, please email us a few details about yourself at the very special email address mystory@feedingouryoung.org. If you have a question you would like addressed in a future Q&A episode, please send it to q@feedingouryoung.org. For all other inquiries, please email us at info@feedingouryoung.org or text us at area code 509-ALL-THEM, 509-255-8436. We're so excited to have you return to hear our next honored guest. Be sure to follow us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Feeding Our Young LLC. Again, that's username Feeding Our Young LLC. Until next time, be encouraged and go find someone to encourage today.